When you want to study the practice, there are two kinds. One is the Samadhi meditation, the concentration meditation, and the other kind is vipassana, the insight practice. There are two types of Dhamma that we should cultivate. One is the concentration meditation and the insight development, the wisdom development. The result from practicing these two kinds would yield different things. The concentration meditation has the objective for the preparation of the mind in order to cultivate wisdom. But the main task is to do the vipassana, is to cultivate wisdom, to do the insight practice. So the real true work is to do the insight practice. However, without the concentration meditation, your mind will not be ready in order to cultivate wisdom. Then you will not make progress. You will not be able to. Therefore, these two things have to be studied, have to be learned. The Dhamma that would lead to wisdom therefore comprise of two parts. One is the concentration meditation and the insight practice. Vipassana is the practice in order to cultivate wisdom, in order to understand the real truth about your body and mind. And once you fully understand, truly understand it, your mind will release and will let go. You'll be liberated from the gripping of this, and then you'll be liberated. The liberation can only be achieved through the wisdom. Having only the concentration, meditation, the tranquility would not yield any liberation from sufferings. Therefore, during the courses that you participate in, you will learn these two things. How do you do the concentration meditation? In order to prepare your mind for the vipassana practice, what kind of mind do you need? It's the mind that stays with your body and mind. You have to be awake, you have to be aware. If the mind forgets about your body and mind, it wanders around in all the contacts that come to you, from the image, from the sound, from the noises, through the 6 doors that come to contact with you, and your mind get lost in all these, including the thoughts. When your mind is lost, you forget about your mind and your body. Therefore, you cannot forget about yourself. You cannot forget about your body and mind. You have to be aware of your body and your mind. In order to practice, to have the mind be with yourself, you have to have a home base, find an anchor for your mind. You can have a mantra, such as Buddha, or you can have any other mantra or chanting, a short chanting. A too long chant would not be very good because your mind could wander off during the chant. Keep a short one. Buddha is good. Using a short mantra is very good. Have a short verse of chant, it will be good. For example, Metta Kunang Arahang Metta. Any mantra or any chant is good as long as your mind is happy about it. When you have happiness, happiness is a near cause for the Samadhi. When you have the right Samadhi, you want the mind to be happy. When it stays there, it remains happy. And you have the right kind of concentration. The mind is like a child. Child is always very curious, inquisitive, and travels outside the house. So if you find something that the child likes, to keep the child at home, the child would remain at home. Even if the child goes out, it will come home very soon because it enjoys being at home. So find a home base that you're happy, you're comfortable with. When I was young, I liked to do the breathing practice because whenever I breathed, I felt very happy. So my mind was very satisfied with the breathing. So the mind would not escape anywhere else. It would stay with the breathing. The kind of home base that you should choose should remain in the Satipatthana group. There are 4 kinds. It has to be first in your body, in your feelings, happiness or unhappiness, or your mind or your consciousness, your mind. And the last one is Dhammanupassana. It's a very high level to be used as a home base. It's difficult. It's not a typical. So you can choose your body and mind. That's easier. So be mindful of breathing in and breathing out. If you're comfortable with this, then you will have the concentration. Or some people like the movements or the postures, sit, stand, walking. Some people like to observe the mind, use the mind as the anchor, as the home base. So you can use a mantra as long as you chant the Putto, and then when your mind wanders off, you become aware of it. If your mind moves somewhere else and forget about the mantra, then you become aware of it. And the mind will come back to yourself. The right concentration, meditation, the right samadhi, it doesn't mean peace, it doesn't mean tranquility. Actually, if you look up the dictionary, it means stability, the stable mind. Tranquility, it could be focused. However, you have the focus on something that you forget about yourself, your body and your mind. So this is the wrong kind of samadhi. As long as it's tranquil, but you forget about yourself, your body and mind, it's the wrong kind of samadhi. Or when you see a light, and then you follow, your mind follow the lights, and then you get to see ghosts or you see angels. It's also wrong. It's an incorrect kind of samadhi because you don't have the samadhi that is helping you become aware of your body, of yourself, your body and your mind. So samadhi in Buddhism means your mind becomes stable and become a stable observer of your body and mind. So the practice of samatha samadhi means it will help promote your awareness of the body and mind. If it's something that you practice and you get lost into your thoughts or anything, then that's not the right kind. So in order to pick the right home base, you have to find what is the right kind for you. If it's following the breathing, then it's good. If I have the breathing as my home base, it doesn't mean that you all would have to have used breathing as a home base. The kind of object that you could be used as your home base could differ from person to person. You have to find your own. Something that makes you happy, and your mind would stay within your body and mind. When I was young, I studied with Luang Po Lee. He taught the meditation on breathing. It clicked with me, so it was effective. I practiced and I liked it. At the beginning, I didn't really know because when I started to practice, my mind wanders off to the outside world. And then after a while, I realized that this may not be beneficial. So Luang Por Lee taught me the breathing meditation, but he didn't teach vipassana to me. Not until I met with Luang Por Dun. Before he started to teach me, he became very quiet and he started meditating. He was completely silent for over an hour. He was checking my history. He was checking what would be the suitable home base for me, the kind of practice for me to use. And then once he opened his eye and started to teach me, he told me to use his mind as his home base. He said, "You've read too many books. It's time to read your own mind." So he had checked the kind of kammatthana that would be suitable for me. It was the reading the mind. Some people it would be the mantra. Some people it would be the breathing. Some people it would be observing your body. Some people would just be observing the stomach moving up and down while breathing. Luang Por Dun could teach like that just because there were a few students that would approach him in order to learn vipassana from him. Part of it is because during that time, the masters mostly stay in the upcountry in the forest, but he actually stayed in town. So not too many people had a lot of faith in him. But in fact, many masters that stay in the woods, in the forest, came to learn from him. Luang Por Dun had a special sense that he could tell what would be the suitable home base for you. But even if he's teaching nowadays, there's someone like him today. It would be really hard when 300 people show up and trying to get a kammatthana or the home base advice from him. So the trick is to find your own. Find something that would help promote the concentration such that you would become more aware of your own body and mind. So for me, just breathing, and then I start to see body and mind, and I have Samadhi. Then the next step is to find the sort of objects that the moment you see, you observe the three characteristics easily. What kind of phenomena arising that you often get to see the three characteristics in it. It could be your body or your mind that would show you the three characteristics. Given there's so many of you, then you have to be smart and notice it about yourself. What would you be able to use as a home base? And then your mind would stay within yourself. And then once you find the home base, and then you could see, oh, this is the right thing for you to be mindful of, and then you get to observe the three characteristics. Some of the object that you choose as your home base is good only for samatha. It might be a different kind of object that you often observe or see that would be good for vipassana or wisdom cultivation. So they don't have to be the same thing. So for me, when I learned with Luang Por Lee, I got the breathing that would help my concentration, meditation flourish, but it didn't help me much to cultivate the wisdom or the vipassana practice. So it's the observation of the mind that helped me cultivate the wisdom or my vipassana practice. So these are two different objects. So first, find something that would help your mind stay within your body and mind. Find something that you practice and you feel happy, relaxed, not stressed about it. And don't try to achieve tranquility or peace. It's just only for you to observe that your mind's moving. If it's your mantra, then follow your mantra. Mantra is not about focusing on the mantra, and then the moment your mind wanders off to your thoughts, just become aware that your mind has wandered off. If you do it repeatedly, when your mind wanders off again, you will remember this phenomena that the mind has moved, and then the awareness will arise, and then you will have the stable observer. And this is a different kind for achieving tranquility. So, when you're mindful of your breathing, the objective again is not peace, it's not the tranquility. And then you will see that your mind wanders off. One, it often goes to your thoughts, and then the second thing that is most typical is your mind moves to focus on your breathing. Then that's not good. You over-focus on breathing, or your mind wanders off to your thoughts. This is the most typical way when the mind moves away from being mindful of your own body and mind. So find something, follow breathing or follow the movement of your tummy moving up and down when you breathe. Or you could chant your mantra, Putto. If the mind moves, just be mindful, be aware that your mind moves to your thoughts or to somewhere else. If your mind starts to focus on your tummy, focusing on the movement up and down, then be aware that you're focusing it. Keep practicing, and then you will have the different kind of samadhi, which is yielding your mind to become a stable observer. So the practice of samadhi for your mind to become the stable observer, there are two ways to do it. First, is you have to achieve jhana. If you get that level of concentration, meditation, where you are already in the jhana, that's when the mind is very focused. When the breathing comes in through your nose, gets into the stomach, after a while, the breathing would become shorter and shorter and less and more shallow. And then after a while, you want to stay at the tip of your nose, and then become the brightness. And you could play with this brightness. It could expand, be so big, or you can make it smaller down. And then the brightness would be very bright in the focus size. You can play around with it. Then that's an access concentration, access meditation. So your mind would linger around the light and the brightness. And your mind stays with that light and the brightness. That's when you achieve the first jhana. And then the mind would abandon the light and then goes back to your own mind. Forget about the thinking, forget about thoughts. And achieve the second jhana. And then that's when you have the stable observer in the second jhana. When you come out of the meditation, this stable observer would remain very, very aware for a few days, but no more than 7 days. So if you can achieve the second jhana, then you can achieve the stable observer and do this. But most people cannot do this. not even the first stage. Therefore, the first approach is not easy. You can achieve it by the instantaneous jhana. It's called Kanika Samadhi. You don't have to get to the second jhana in order to do this. The instantaneous jhana, the momentary jhana, can allow you to cultivate wisdom. And in order to achieve this, it can be done the way I have been teaching you today. If you have the mantra and you get stressed and you become very, very unhappy about it, find something else. If breathing causes stress, then you get stiff, find something else. But don't find something that is too comfortable, that your mind would wander off for a long time and you don't get to feel your body and mind for a long time, then that's not good either. So find something that your mind would stay and become a stable observer, and you could see your mind wanders off to something else. For example, Luang Po Tian would teach the hand movements for you to focus on. When your mind moves to somewhere else, you have to become aware. Then you will be aware that your mind wanders off to your thoughts. So the key is not about the hand movements, it's about focusing on the hand movements long enough that when the mind wanders off to your thought, you can see. If Buddhism is taught the right way, it doesn't matter the approach or the home base that you use or the methods that you use, everything will come down to the same place. Khun Chandi asked me, how did you practice this? That the mind comes down to be in the same place as mine. So for him, he said, he just observed the mind. When the mind moves, then he could say. For her, she said she just used the mantra Buddho. Luang Po Tian used the movement of the hands. So you can have different methods, different ways in order to achieve this, and your mind will come down and understand and learn the same thing. When you have the right kind of samadhi, then you can cultivate wisdom from it to see the three characteristics from it. In conclusion, find your home base. You can do the walking meditation. If your mind wanders off to your thoughts, be aware. If your mind starts to focus on your feet, know this. If you use the breathing, if your mind wanders off, you know. If the mind just starts to focus on the breathing, or you focus on the breathing of the tummy, if the mind wanders off, know it. If your mind over-focusing on the tummy, then knows it, see it. So anything can be used as a home base. Have the key principle. You can use anything. Find something that you're happy, you're comfortable with. It suits you. And when the mind wanders off, you know. When your mind wanders off to the thoughts, then you have the awareness mind, which is the opposite of being scattered mind. The stable observer is like a switch that is once it's switched on, you become very aware of your body and mind. Your mind doesn't wander off. Now you can see your mind wanders off to your thoughts. Even though sometimes you're moving your hands as your home base, and then your mind still wanders off. And you have to see the mind wanders off. So the heart is not about the type of home base that you choose. You can just move your fingers or hands as your home base. But when your mind wanders off, you have to know. So the practice that's the Buddha taught. First, it's about the morality teaching, and then Cittasika is the practice of the mind in order to achieve the right kind of Samadhi, the mind that stays within your body and mind. So this requires the right kind of home base, the right object for you to practice. Don't pick anything that would lead you to forget about your body and mind. When your mind moves and wanders off, you have to know. So there are two mistakes that you can make from this practice is when your mind wanders off or when you over-focus. So these two things, as long as you become aware of it, it's okay. It will come back to the home base. So the concentration meditation, when you're over-focusing on one thing, it's not wrong, but it's the kind of Dhamma that is outside of Buddhism. It exists in other religions too. It exists before the Buddhist era. However, the kind of meditation that allows you to be mindful of your body and mind is the kind of concentration, is the kind of meditation on Samadhi that belongs to Buddhists. But if you intentionally try to make the right kind of Samadhi all of the time, it's immediately the wrong kind of Samadhi because it's driven by greed or desire that you want to be focusing and aware all the time. Or the mind that is completely tranquil and quiet is also wrong. It's not the Buddhist kind of Samadhi. The right Samadhi has to be ready for wisdom cultivation. So when you're tired or you're scattered, you can do the concentration meditation such that you become focused on one thing and you get to rest and you get the power. Once you're re-energized and come back to this kind of mindfulness, awareness, Samadhi, you don't need any vacuum, you don't need any tranquility, you don't need any single object focus. So bottom line, find your home base and keep following it, be mindful of it. When it wanders off, become mindful of it. Don't try to stop it from wandering off, over-focusing. By stopping it from to move away is not good. It's not all bad. Then, completely scattered mind, but it's not going to promote or cultivate wisdom in the long run. So do the right kind of Samadhi. Be mindful of yourself, your body and mind. Okay, it's time for breakfast. Find your home base.